What is going on, everyone? We're back, finally, with another...
We've only been a week off from
Two
this
off.
one. Two?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Time flies.
2 weeks away. We're finally back with another In Search of Darkness horror review. I'm Depraved.
I'm Hellcat.
And together we are...
HellaDepraved.
Horror! And this starts our first movie in 1983.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know, the wonderful people that do the In Search of Darkness Twitter provided us with checklists. Not us specifically, everyone. If you go on Twitter, it's there.
Which just makes our life so much easier.
But it makes us, we're still going to watch along with them to see what other people's opinions are as we go through them, which we have been doing.
Right.
But over and above all, this list does pretty much give us our full guide in terms of all the movies we're going to cover. And I'm happy to tell you that my favorite movie of all time isn't necessarily very soon, but it is in the first.
Oh, you're excited. In the first column-esque area?
Well, in the first...
Grouping. Okay.
Into the fire!
If you don't know, you don't know yet.
Yeah, if you don't know based off of that alone.
Right. So this is Videodrome.
So yeah, this is Videodrome. So before I go too stupid, I'm gonna go over the normal stuff. There are some movies that you watch it and you don't even need to see who the director is, and you know who the director is.
Right.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. Yeah.
David Cronenberg, who was also the director of what I do think is a better movie, to be honest. But this isn't bad. But he was also the director of Scanners.
Right. Well, he does the body horror and sort of the conspiracy theorist type combos very well.
But yeah, so Cronenberg both wrote and directed Videodrome. It's produced by Claude Hero. Cinematography is done by Mark Irwin, edited by Ronald Sanders, music by Howard Shore. Production companies are Film Plan International, Canadian Film Development Corporation, Famous Players, Guardian Trust Company, distributed by Universal Pictures. I don't like them. Released on February 4th, 1983, has a runtime of 89 minutes, had a budget of $5.9 million, only made back $2.1 in the box office.
And is a cult classic, so...
It is a cult classic. As far as the one thing that I did not check out was...
Oh, it's Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah. Videodrome.
I think this one would have been kind of a hard one to publicize correctly in terms of getting people into the theaters to see it.
Videodrome. Wow!
People love it.
This is the first time I've seen this.
Sequel.
On anything. Both the critics and the audience have it at an 80%.
All right.
And that's with 56 critic reviews, 25,000 audience reviews. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see this. This is the first time we'd watched it.
Right.
And it has been like 2 weeks ago. So if we miss things on this, bear with us.
Right. Well, and I'm definitely going to miss things in the synopsis because this is one of those that's hard to describe and is sort of all over the place in terms of when you describe it. Makes more sense watching it type thing because of the conspiracy within it.
Right.
You have to be with the main character to see what he's seeing to truly get what is happening. But we start off with Max Wren, our lead character, and I'm not going to call him a protagonist or antagonist. He's sort of there.
He exists.
Yeah, he's gray. He's gray. But he's the president of a TV programming company, and he's always looking for something more sensational, more explicit. And one of his workers finds a broadcasting out of some Asian, I think it's Malaysia, where it's basically torture porn. They are showing people getting tortured and then killed. It's snuff. And he thinks that that is the next draw for his porn enthusiasts that watch his TV channel and wants this coworker to track down where it's from, but he wants him to start using it immediately without licensing. So he goes on this whole quest to track down Videodrome, which is what it's called, the show, and meets up with a very masochistic news anchor and starts an affair with her. Things happen very quickly in these 80s films. And she sees some of it and then gets turned on and then wants to enact some very...
She wants to be in it.
Yeah, well, she wants some very masochistic things from him in the bedroom, and then she wants to be in it. She wants to audition for it. And the auditions just happen to be going to the city that she is going to for work. And that's when he starts to get a little bit worried. So he starts tracking it down a little bit more. He finds out from a woman that he collaborates with who is into softcore porn some names to track down. One of them is Oblivion, which is, he's a media theorist. Nobody's seen him in person. He always pops up just
Brian Oblivion
TV programs and so on. And he finds his Oblivion's daughter working at a homeless shelter that's filled with TVs, and you find out that it's a program to try and replace everyday life with TV, which is just kind of a weird thing, but it's part of what Brian Oblivion has been working on. And Bianca Oblivion, tells Max that basically her father has been deceased because just seeing Videodrome, the snuff films, cause malignant tumors in people's heads. It reprograms you somehow. And so Oblivion had recorded thousands of hours worth of him theorizing to broadcast after his death to continue his work. And so Oblivion apparently is one of the people who helped develop this Videodrome technology that's being used, and he had a fallout with his partners because his partners wanted to use it for nefarious reasons, and they killed him using the technology. And so anyway, Max goes home and has this weird hallucination of sticking a handgun in a slit in his abdomen, and then he tracks down one of Oblivion's old partners who runs an eyeglass front for weapons, and they want to take records of his dreams, and he has some very harsh fantasy about the newscaster that he was having an affair with and accidentally unaliving her during sex, and he wakes up and it's the softcore porn lady that he collabed with in his bedroom. But when he contacts his co-worker to come take photos and everything, her body and all the evidence is gone. So you realize that he's having pretty wicked hallucinations at that point.
Which he was told he was going to have.
It's part of the whole Videodrome malignant tumor process. So he ends up getting, I guess, programmed by the still alive partners of Oblivion to be an assassin. They put a new videotape in his abdomen that reprograms him, and he's sent to, he does wipe out everybody in his office, and then is sent to kill Bianca Oblivion, and gets to her, and she is able to fend him off and then reprogram him. And he becomes an assassin for the Oblivions, taking out the two business partners that were still alive. And then at the very end, he has a hallucination of she has been dead this entire time, guys. That is the spoiler. The news anchor that apparently he's hallucinated the entire affair with, saying that it was time for him to join her, and that in order to move on to the next enlightening. Like, he needs to leave his physical body and, like, walk through the fire that he sees, and what is it, long live the new flesh, and take a gun to his head. And as soon as that hallucination ends, you see him basically do exactly what he just saw. And so it ends with him unaliving himself, basically. It's very wacky in terms of how it sounds.
Right.
And honestly, it is wacky to watch, too. But because you're going along with him on this hallucination type journey, you kind of get it a bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, going over the cast real quick, because it's not a huge cast. You've got the legendary James Woods as the lead character, Max Wren. Debbie Harry, who is also the Blondie, as Nikki Brand.
She was amazing. That's the masochistic news anchor.
Right. Sonja Smits as Bianca Oblivion. Peter Dvorsky as Harlan. Leslie Carlson as Barry Convex. Jack Creeley as Dr. Brian Oblivion. Lynn Gorman as Masha. Julie Connor as Bridie James. David Bolt as Raphael. Rainer Schwartz as Moses. Lally Cadeau as Arena King. King Cosmos as Brawley. Kay Howardtree as Matron, and David Subushi as Japanese pornographer.
Right.
As far as the effects, the special effects in this movie go, it's a Cronenberg movie.
Right.
They're really good.
Very graphically body horror.
Very graphic body horror. I mean, regardless of which time you're watching and somebody shoving something into
the vagina,
the tummy
abdomen.
Vagina.
Yeah, that's new. That's new.
I don't know.
I mean, but Cronenberg takes you through the whole, like, it just starts itching on his abdomen first, and then it's, like, moving by itself, and then, like, it's swallowing his whole arm to steal the gun from him, and it's...
Well, yeah, like, he sticks his hand in there, and it takes the gun from him.
Why?
And then,
why? You have a hole in your abdomen. Why are you attempting to do anything with it other than scream?
Other people are sticking tapes in it.
I mean, like, I may be old and forgetful, but I don't believe that's how VHS worked back in my day.
Towards the end, he puts his hand in, and when he pulls it out, the gun comes back out with him, but it like, morphs into this alien, almost monster gun.
Well, it bonds with his arm.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody's been watching way too much anime.
The effects are really cool, but it's body horror. So if that kind of thing, like, grosses you out, or it's supposed to. It's supposed to. Yeah.
Very much so. But yeah, I oh, did you know? That's fascinating. So Cronenberg gained increased reputation with scanners. He turned down the chance of directing Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Because he didn't have any desire to direct material produced by other filmmakers.
Okay.
And he went on to do this instead.
I give him props for that.
That's interesting.
And this may be still a little bit more underground, but honestly, a lot of people know about this movie and Cronenberg in his own right.
Right.
Now, I will say that the ones that we've seen of Cronenberg definitely have a pretty strong... He has a strong message each time, and this one was, how much does TV and watching violence on TV corrupt you? Because that was the whole underlining mission of the partners, was to corrupt the corruptible with TV violence and sex and sexual violence, and then they would be the ones that ended up with the malignant tumors that would kill them, whereas the pious who did not watch that kind of stuff would go on to be a productive society. So they were basically using taped snuff to snuff out who they thought should not participate in society any longer.
Right.
So, and Scanners also had sort of like the political conspiracy type thing as well. So, I do enjoy that about his. They take you kind of on they're a mind fuck. But they
really
take you on a deep dive of like, you sit back afterwards and you're like, all right, okay.
So, if I had to come up with anything that I find to have a problem with in terms of this movie, is there are, especially towards the end, several times where you don't know what's real and what's going on in it. And had I watched this when I was younger, it would have been the first time I got to experience that. It is not, because this is the first time I got to watch this. Because we've had several other movies since then,
right,
that have had situations like that. Inception, you never really know.
Which isn't entirely fair to Cronenberg, because
No.
obviously this came before those. But
Right.
yeah, we've had it.
I've also seen The Attic Expeditions, which is another movie
Right.
that you spend a lot of time being like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
But obviously that is also supposed to be where he's at.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that he falls into, is he doesn't know
Yeah,
when
those
things
are
are
some
real, when
vivid
things aren't
freaking
real.
hallucinations. Yeah.
So you really do, as frustrating as it can be, it's also really cool to kind of feel like you're going on this journey along with him.
I think it's necessary. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on? By the end of the movie, you still don't really know what the fuck's going on, but
not until you like sit back and you're like, oh, okay. But yeah.
It's like I said, I don't think it was as good overall as Scanners.
Excuse us. I think this one was harder to process because it is harder to follow. I don't necessarily think it's... I think I liked the story of Scanners better. I don't think it has anything to do with if this film is as good or as bad. I just enjoyed the Scanners story better.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. So with that being said, I guess it's time to cast judgment.
Right.
Where did my pen go?
I don't know.
Did you run off with it?
I haven't touched it.
I need a pen. Where did my pen go?
With that being said,
I guess I can use that one. I'd like to know where the other one went though, because it was just in my hand.
right?
I am going to give this movie 2.5 finger guns. Bang bang.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. 2.5 finger guns out of 5.
All right. I'm gonna go with a solid 3 VHS tapes.
Hold on. 18.
Yeah.
You said 3?
Yeah. And again, it's just, I enjoyed the storyline of Scanners better.
Right. But yeah, this was enjoyable. Definitely deserves its cult classic standing.
Absolutely. And I love watching Blondie.
I will always... This is one of those movies that regardless of time, regardless of day or whatever, I could watch it. James Woods as an actor is always
Amazing.
fun to watch.
Right. And as soon as Debbie Harry came on, I was like, it's Blondie.
Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah. So.
So yeah. I guess that's it.
That's it.
It feels short. It's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's roughly correct.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Our next video that we get to cover is The Hunger.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. And we will see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.